Welcome back to the channel, Rare Coins History, coin lovers and curious collectors. If you're new here, you're about to step into a world where tiny pieces of copper hold enormous stories, and sometimes, enormous value. And if you've been with us before, you already know that what might seem like an ordinary coin in your pocket change could be a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. Today, we're turning the spotlight on one of America's most iconic coins, the Lincoln wheat penny. But not just any Lincoln cent. We're going back to the year 1951, a post-war America booming with promise, when a small copper coin with a humble design quietly rolled off the presses. The 1951 Lincoln wheat penny, with its distinct mint marks, might just be one of the biggest hidden gems still circulating or sitting quietly in someone's dusty coin jar. Let's talk about the history behind this coin, because this story doesn't begin with the coin itself. It begins with Abraham Lincoln, the man on the obverse of the coin, a president so influential that in 1909, on the centennial of his birth, the U.S. Mint decided to honor him by placing his portrait on the 1-cent coin. This marked the first time a real person had been featured on a circulating U.S. coin. The wheat reverse design was introduced that same year, with two stalks of wheat arching around the words, 1 cent, and United States of America, a nod to American agriculture and prosperity. Fast forward to 1951. The world had just emerged from the turmoil of World War II, and America was in a new era of growth. Families were settling into suburban homes, television sets were becoming common household items, and the Cold War was quietly beginning to stir. Against this backdrop of post-war optimism and cautious tension, the 1951 Lincoln wheat penny was minted at 3 different locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. And here's where it gets interesting: each of these mint locations left their own signature in the form of a tiny letter under the date. If your penny has no letter at all, it was struck in Philadelphia. If you see a small D, it came from Denver. And if there's an S, it was minted in San Francisco. These mint marks might seem like minor details, but they play a huge role in determining a coin's rarity, collector demand, and ultimate value. Now, let's focus on why the 1951 wheat penny is so special. Millions of these coins were made, true. But here's the twist: only a handful have survived in top-grade condition. Over the years, most have been used, worn down, and damaged. But the ones that were carefully preserved, tucked away in coin folders, untouched by time, are now incredibly sought after by collectors. Think about this: coins are designed to be used. They go through pockets, cash registers, vending machines, and hands of all kinds. But if someone in 1951 had the foresight to store a few pristine Lincoln cents, those coins today would be like rare time travelers, still shining with the copper glow they had the day they were minted. And collectors aren't just looking for clean coins. Some of the most exciting finds come from error coins, accidental mistakes made at the U.S. Mint that slipped through quality checks. These could include double dies, off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, or even coins struck on the wrong metal planchets. Imagine holding a coin that never should have existed. Those are the holy grail for collectors. There have been reports of 1951 wheat pennies with strong doubling on the obverse, especially around the date and lettering. Others have unusually deep, crisp strikes that give Lincoln's portrait an almost sculpted look. And some coins have unusually brilliant luster even decades later, thanks to near-perfect preservation. All of these features increase the desirability, and the price tag, of this simple 1-cent piece. Another important factor: rarity in higher grades. You might be able to find a 1951 penny in your pocket change, but finding one that grades MS 65 or above is a different story altogether. These coins were not made to sit around, they were made to be spent. So, when one is discovered in uncirculated condition, it's like finding a needle in a haystack. That's when collectors and dealers begin to pay serious attention, and serious money. Many people ask, what should I look for? Well, if you're searching through old coin collections, garage sale finds, inherited stashes, or rolls of pennies from the bank, pay attention to the year and mint mark. A 1951 penny with an S or D mint mark in excellent condition could already be worth a nice amount. But if it has clean surfaces, no signs of wear, strong original luster, and possibly even an error, you might be holding a jackpot in your hand. So, what's the magic number? How much could a single 1951 Lincoln wheat penny be worth today, if you're lucky enough to find a mint state, uncirculated 1951 penny with rare characteristics or a minting error? It could fetch up to $45,000. Yes, you heard that right, $45,000 for a coin that was once worth just 1 cent. And that's the beauty of coin collecting. It's not just about money, it's about history, discovery, and the thrill of holding something that connects the past to the present in the palm of your hand. A coin like this tells a story. It's a conversation starter, a relic, and possibly a ticket to an incredible payday. Today's treasure comes from a time when the entire world was at war, and the United States was playing a pivotal role in shaping history. And while battles raged on across continents, a small copper coin, the 1944 Lincoln wheat penny, was being minted back home. It may have seemed ordinary at the time, just 1 cent to buy a piece of candy or a stamp. But today? That very same penny could be worth a life-changing amount of money if you know what to look for. So sit tight, because we're about to take you on a journey into the past, uncover the secrets of this rare coin, and by the end of the video, we'll reveal just how much a single 1944 wheat penny in the right condition could sell for. You won't believe the number. Let's take a step back to understand the moment in which this coin was born. The year was 1944. World War II was still raging, but victory was finally in sight. American soldiers were stationed across Europe and the Pacific. At home, the country was united under the war effort. Factories were booming, war bonds were being sold, and Americans were rationing everything from rubber to sugar to help the troops. Every resource mattered. Even the coins in people's pockets. Now, here's where the story of the Lincoln wheat penny takes a dramatic twist. In 1943, just the year before, the U.S. Mint had made a drastic change. It stopped using copper in pennies altogether. Why? Because copper was desperately needed for wartime ammunition. So, in 1943, pennies were made from steel coated in zinc. These shiny, silver-colored coins were a bold change from the usual reddish-brown copper people were used to seeing. But there was a problem. The steel pennies rusted easily, stuck to magnets, and were often confused with dimes. So in 1944, the Mint decided to go back to copper, but not just any copper. In a unique twist of recycling ingenuity, the Mint used salvaged shell casings collected from military training grounds. That's right, your 1944 Lincoln wheat penny could literally be made from recycled wartime ammunition. It's a coin forged from history, from struggle, and from patriotism. And that gives it a weight far beyond its small size. Each one of these coins carries a piece of World War II inside it, both literally and symbolically. The 1944 penny was struck at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. You can tell where your penny was made by the tiny letter under the date. No letter means it came from Philadelphia. A small d means Denver. And an S means San Francisco. All 3 mints produced massive numbers of these coins, over 1 billion in total. But here's the secret: not all 1944 pennies are created equal. While the majority of these coins were ordinary copper pennies made from shell casings, a very small number were struck on leftover steel blanks from 1943 by mistake. These rare 1944 steel cents are among the most famous and valuable error coins in U.S. history. But even if your 1944 penny is made of copper, that doesn't mean it's ordinary, especially if it's in exceptional condition or has a rare variation. Let's talk about what collectors are looking for. First, condition is everything. A well-worn penny that's been through decades of transactions might only be worth a few cents. But one in mint state condition, bright, shiny, with no signs of wear, can be worth a small fortune. If the coin still shows its original luster, strong details in Lincoln's hair and jacket, and clean edges, it's a serious candidate for high value. Now let's take it up a notch. There are also known error coins and variations from the 1944 series. Some have repunched mint marks, where the letter D or S was accidentally stamped twice. Others show doubling in the date or lettering, creating a ghost-like effect called double die. These flaws may have seemed like mistakes at the time, but today, they're golden tickets for collectors. Even rarer are the transitional error coins. Imagine finding a 1944 penny accidentally struck on a zinc-coated steel planchet left over from the previous year. These are worth tens of thousands of dollars because only a few dozen are believed to exist. They're so rare, most collectors will never even see one in person. Another factor that increases value is strike quality. Some coins, due to worn dies or poor metal flow, come out with weak features. But the coins that were struck early, with fresh dies and perfect alignment, show bold, crisp detail. These are the coins that stand out at auction and bring in the big money. So what should you be looking for? Start by checking the date, 1944. Then, look for the mint mark, Philadelphia, no mark, Denver, D, or San Francisco, S. Next, evaluate the condition. Is it clean, sharp, uncirculated? Hold it under a bright light. Does it still have its copper shine? Is there doubling in the text? Any oddities or unusual surface textures? Every detail matters, and don't forget, rare coins don't always come from dealers or auctions. People have found valuable 1944 wheat pennies in inherited coin collections, old coffee tins, tucked in the corners of drawers, and even in rolls of pennies from the bank. You could be one of those lucky people, and now, the moment you've been waiting for, the value reveal. Just how much could a 1944 Lincoln wheat penny with a mint mark be worth today? If it's in pristine uncirculated condition or has a rare error, believe it or not, such a coin can be valued as high as $48,000. That's right, $48,000 for a coin that many people still see as just another old penny. This is why coin collecting is such a thrilling hobby. Behind every coin lies a story, of history, of error, of survival. The 1944 wheat penny isn't just a coin. It's a relic of war, of American strength, and of craftsmanship. And in the right condition, it's also a gateway to an incredible windfall. Today, we're opening the storybook on the 1947 Lincoln wheat penny. A coin so common that it's easy to overlook, yet so unique in certain forms that it could be worth a jaw-dropping amount of money today. And if you're patient and stick with us to the end, we'll tell you exactly how this one little penny could be worth as much as $52,000. Let's begin by stepping back into the post-war era, America in the year 1947. The Second World War had ended just 2 years earlier, and the United States was transitioning from wartime industry to peacetime prosperity. Soldiers were coming home, families were growing, and the country was full of ambition. It was a time of rebuilding, hope, and the start of the baby boom generation. While cities buzzed with energy and veterans settled back into daily life, the U.S. Mint was quietly continuing its job, producing billions of coins to fuel a rapidly growing economy. Among those coins, struck and sent into circulation, was the humble 1947 Lincoln wheat penny. Now let's talk about this small but powerful piece of history. The Lincoln cent had already become iconic by this time. It had been in circulation since 1909, created to honor the centennial of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse of the coin proudly featured Lincoln's portrait, the first real person ever placed on a circulating U.S. coin. The reverse bore 2 stalks of wheat, gracefully arching around the words, 1 cent, and United States of America. This simple design stood as a tribute to American agriculture, labor, and unity. By 1947, this design had already been in place for nearly 40 years, and the wheat penny had become a trusted and familiar sight across America. But what makes the 1947 version so interesting to collectors today isn't just its design, it's the story behind the coin, the variants, and the rarity of certain surviving examples. Let's start with the mint marks. The 1947 Lincoln wheat penny was minted at 3 locations, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each mint left its own mark, literally. If you examine the coin closely, just under the date, you might see a tiny letter. No letter means it was struck in Philadelphia. A small D stands for Denver, and an S represents San Francisco. Now here's where it gets interesting. The Philadelphia Mint struck the largest number of these coins, hundreds of millions. Denver came in second, and San Francisco struck far fewer in comparison. But the real treasure lies not in quantity, but in quality. You see, most of these coins were heavily circulated. They passed through thousands of hands, pockets, and cash drawers over decades. As a result, many are worn, scratched, or corroded, but some, a rare few, managed to escape time. These are the coins that collectors are chasing. The ones that were pulled from circulation early and carefully preserved. The ones with sharp details in Lincoln's hair, smooth fields free from blemishes, and strong original luster that still glows like the day they were minted. These coins, in what we call mint state or uncirculated condition, are where the serious value begins, but there's even more to the story. Some 1947 wheat pennies have errors and varieties that send collectors into a frenzy. You might find one with a repunched mint mark, where the mint letter was stamped more than once, creating a shadow effect. Others may show double dies, where the design was accidentally engraved onto the die more than once, resulting in doubled letters or numbers. These small mistakes from the U.S. Mint are like fingerprints, they make a coin one of a kind. And collectors are willing to pay top dollar for them. There are also coins struck with planchet flaws, off-center strikes, and even transitional errors, coins made from the wrong metal composition or with incorrect dies. These minting mistakes turn what was meant to be a common coin into a rare collectible, and then there's the matter of strike quality. Even two coins from the same mint and same year can look completely different. Why? Because coins struck earlier in the production process, with fresh dies, come out cleaner and sharper. Those are called strong strikes. Later in the process, as the dies wear down, the images become soft and fuzzy. Sharpness matters a lot. Collectors seek the coins that look like tiny sculptures, where every line is visible and every detail preserved. So what should you be looking for in your 1947 Lincoln wheat penny? First, check the mint mark. A San Francisco or Denver mint mark can carry a slight premium, especially in high grades. Then, examine the condition. Is it shiny? Crisp? Free of wear? Use a magnifying glass to check the lettering and date for signs of doubling. Flip the coin over. Does the wheat design still have clear lines, or has it worn down? Every tiny detail makes a difference. Now, here's the fun part. You don't need to be a millionaire to find one of these valuable coins. People have discovered them in old coin jars, inherited collections, flea markets, and even in rolls of pennies bought from the bank. One lucky find could change everything. So, how much is this small copper coin from 1947 really worth? Well, if you happen to own a 1947 Lincoln wheat penny in pristine, mint state condition, especially with a rare mint mark or an unusual minting error, your coin could be worth an incredible $52,000. Yes, that's right, $52,000 for a coin that originally bought nothing more than a stick of gum, and that, my friends, is why coin collecting is such a fascinating and rewarding adventure. Each coin is more than just money. It's a piece of American history, a puzzle waiting to be solved, and in some cases, a treasure waiting to be claimed. Today, we're exploring the fascinating journey of the 1937 Lincoln wheat penny, a seemingly ordinary 1-cent piece from the United States of America that, in the right condition, could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. And yes, we'll tell you the exact value, $57,000, at the end of this video, so don't go anywhere. Let's go back in time, back to the year 1937. America was still grappling with the tail end of the Great Depression. President Franklin D. Roosevelt was leading the country with his New Deal policies, trying to pull the nation out of financial ruin. Most people were focused on survival, on finding jobs, keeping homes, and putting food on the table. In those difficult times, even a single penny held more value than it does today. That 1 cent could buy candy, pencils, even a loaf of bread in some towns. It was in that tough, uncertain world that the 1937 Lincoln wheat penny was born. Struck by the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, this coin wasn't just a piece of currency, it was a part of American life. Millions of these pennies were produced that year. But not all of them were created equally. And that's exactly why some of them have become incredibly valuable in today's coin-collecting world. Let's first look at the design. The Lincoln Wheat Penny, introduced in 1909, was a tribute to America's 16th president, Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was the first circulating U.S. coin to feature a real person's portrait. On the front, we see Lincoln's bust facing right, with the words, "In God We Trust," above, "Liberty," to the left, and the date, 1937, on the right. Simple. Powerful. Iconic. Flip the coin over, and you'll find two stalks of wheat framing the words, 1 cent and United States of America. At the top, the Latin phrase, e pluribus unum, out of many, one. This wheat design was meant to symbolize America's agricultural roots, its strength, and its unity. And even after all these years, it remains one of the most beloved and recognizable coin designs in American history. But what makes the 1937 wheat penny stand out from other years? Why are some of these coins now considered priceless treasures? Let's start with mint marks. If your 1937 penny doesn't have a mint mark under the date, it was struck in Philadelphia. If there's a small d, it came from Denver, and if there's an s, it was minted in San Francisco. While all three mints produce these coins, the quantities and the quality vary, and that's where rarity begins to take shape. The vast majority of these coins went straight into circulation. People spent them every day on goods, transportation, and services. They were tossed in cash drawers, rubbed smooth by thousands of fingers, and eventually thrown into jars or left to tarnish in boxes. Very few were saved in pristine, untouched condition. But the few that were, those are the coins collectors dream about. The real magic lies in the condition. In coin collecting, we call top condition coins mint state or uncirculated. That means no wear, no scratches, no blemishes, just a clean, crisp strike with full details and glowing original luster. A 1937 wheat penny in that kind of condition is extremely rare. It's like finding a leaf that's remained perfectly green for nearly 90 years, and then come the errors and varieties. These are the hidden gems that can turn an already valuable coin into a legendary one. Some 1937 wheat pennies show double dies, where parts of the design, especially the date, letters, or Lincoln's features, appear slightly duplicated due to a misalignment during the minting process. These double die coins are prized by collectors because each one is unique and carries a fascinating story of how a mechanical mistake created something beautiful. Others may have repunched mint marks, where the mint mark was stamped more than once in different positions. Some rare specimens even exhibit off-center strikes, die cracks, or planchet flaws, all of which make them stand out, and more valuable. And let's not forget about strike quality. Coins struck early in a die's life come out with sharper, clearer detail. Coins struck later might look dull or mushy. The difference can add hundreds, or thousands, of dollars in value. And that's not all. Even the color of the coin matters. Collectors love red designation wheat pennies, which retain their bright copper color after decades of proper storage. A red 1937 wheat penny in mint condition? That's the kind of coin that lights up an auction room. Now, here's what makes this story truly exciting: you don't have to be a professional coin dealer or wealthy investor to find one. People have discovered rare and valuable 1937 wheat pennies in pocket change, old family collections, flea markets, estate sales, and even inside dusty piggy banks. All it takes is a sharp eye, a little patience, and a passion for history. So now you're probably wondering, what's the jackpot? How much could a 1937 Lincoln wheat penny actually be worth? Well, if you happen to own one in exceptional mint state condition, especially one with a rare error or an unusually sharp strike, then congratulations, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Because a single 1937 Lincoln wheat penny, with the right combination of condition, rarity, and uniqueness, has been valued at an incredible $57,000. Yes, you heard that right. $57,000 for a coin that originally cost just a penny. That's the magic of coin collecting. It's not just about money, it's about the thrill of the hunt, the beauty of craftsmanship, and the deep connection to history. These coins have passed through generations, traveled across the country, and now, they could be in your hands. So, don't ignore those old pennies. Look at the dates. Check for mint marks. Examine the condition. That little coin could be the key to a big surprise. Today, Lincoln Wheat Penny. These small copper coins, minted from 1909 to 1958, carry with them not just the image of one of America's most beloved presidents, Abraham Lincoln, but also a legacy of American history etched into every detail. And among them, one particular coin has sparked incredible interest, especially among collectors, historians, and lucky treasure hunters, the 1949 Lincoln Wheat Penny with mint mark. If you have one of these coins tucked away in your drawer, purse, piggy bank, or inherited from a grandparent's coin jar, then it might just be time to take a much closer look, because what seems like an ordinary penny could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Let's take a journey back to the year 1949. World War II had ended just a few years prior. America was in the midst of reconstruction and economic recovery. Factories were being repurposed, veterans were returning home, and the country was entering a new era of growth. Amid this changing world, the United States Mint continued its work, producing coins for everyday commerce, including the humble 1-cent Lincoln Wheat Penny. But what makes the 1949 edition so captivating to collectors isn't just its age, but the specific variations, mint marks, and errors that occurred during production that year. These differences, sometimes subtle, sometimes dramatic, can mean the difference between a coin worth a single cent and one worth tens of thousands of dollars. Now, here's where it gets exciting. In 1949, the Lincoln Wheat Penny was struck at 3 different mints across the United States: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each coin was designated by either no mint mark for Philadelphia, a small d under the date for Denver, or a small s for San Francisco. These tiny letters are critical clues in identifying a coin's origin and potential rarity. For example, the San Francisco Mint produced fewer pennies than the other locations in some years, meaning an S mint mark might indicate a lower mintage and higher value. But even more valuable are the error coins, misstruck coins, off-center strikes, double dies, repunched mint marks, and even coins accidentally made with different metal compositions. Collectors are constantly on the hunt for these rare variations, and when they surface, they can command staggering prices at auctions. The 1949 wheat penny also falls within a golden window for copper coinage. Unlike pennies made in later years, these coins were composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This not only gave them a rich, warm color but also made them more valuable over time due to the rising cost of copper. But beyond the metal itself, it's the condition of the coin that truly matters. Coins that were never circulated, stored carefully in mint sets or protected from wear and tear, can grade significantly higher on the Sheldon coin grading scale, and that grade has a direct impact on value. A 1949 Lincoln Wheat Penny in average circulated condition may only be worth a few cents to a couple dollars. But an uncirculated, pristine example with a rare error or unique mint characteristic? That's where the magic begins. Some collectors have discovered these coins hidden away in old rolls of pennies, purchased them unknowingly at estate sales, or even received them as change without realizing what they held. And over the years, stories have emerged of sharp-eyed collectors turning pocket change into massive profit. What makes this pursuit so thrilling is that anyone, anywhere, could stumble upon one of these hidden gems. That's why examining every penny you come across, especially older wheat pennies, is so important. Check the date. Look under the year for a mint mark. Examine the coin under magnification for doubling on the numbers or letters. Any oddities could indicate a rare variety. In fact, the 1949 Lincoln Wheat Penny has appeared at several coin shows and auctions where it stole the spotlight, especially when in near mint or red uncirculated condition. These pennies are valued not only for their scarcity and errors but also for their historical relevance and connection to mid-century America. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just starting out in the hobby, adding a well-preserved 1949 penny to your collection is a rewarding milestone. It's a coin that bridges the past with the present and keeps the thrill of discovery alive for generations of collectors. So the next time you're sifting through your change, don't overlook that old copper penny. Pull it aside. Look closer. You might just be holding a piece of history, a coin that's far more valuable than its face value suggests. Because some 1949 Lincoln wheat pennies, especially those with the right mint mark and condition, have sold for a jaw-dropping amount. Yes, you heard that right. One rare and well-preserved example of this penny has been sold for an astonishing $49,000. Keep your eyes open, because the treasure could be hiding right in your pocket.